One thing that we all have in common is that we need to eat. And most of us don't want to spend a large portion of our monthly income on groceries. But with the rising cost of food these days and the average American family spending roughly $1,000 a month, it's making it one of the largest household expenses. The good news is that we don't have to spend a lot of money to eat well. So today I wanted to share with you 15 frugal grocery hacks that can help cut costs and reduce waste. They are simple and practical ideas. You don't have to cut coupons unless you really want to. You don't have to have special apps, running store to store, or even eating ramen noodles for dinner every night. So, to start with, number one is track your grocery expenses for a month. And if you don't already do this, it will give you a good idea of how much money you are spending before you start to reduce. That way, you can kind of see what the numbers are. So, once you have your monthly expense, what you have been spending, then you can look at it and say, I want to reduce it by this much, or this is my goal of what I want to spend money on, how much money I want to spend each month on my groceries. And number two is make a meal plan and a list. So before you head to the grocery store, make a quick meal plan. Usually that includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. It doesn't have to be super strict. It's more of a kind of like a guideline. It gives you a good idea of what you might be eating for the whole week. And then make your list based off from that. Don't forget to check, the refrigerator and your pantry to see if there's anything in there that you already have that you would need. And that way you're going to be able to stick to a list. It's going to match your meal plans. And then that way you avoid spending extra money like impulse purchases, but also that way you don't forget things that you needed for the week. So, number three, avoid prepackaged produce. I personally have a hard time with this one because I like produce and I like it when they display it in little packages, especially the kebabs or the sliced fruit with some dip. I really like that kind of stuff, and they have made it very easy for me to want that. But they are charging a lot for that. So I try to use that inspiration of what I see, buy my own produce, and take it home and then cut it up myself. Saves myself a lot of money. Number four is freeze things before they go bad. So if you know that you have some stuff in your house that is about to go bad and you're not going to make it for the rest of the week to eat it, you don't want it to go to waste, freeze it. And you can do this with like breads and meats, fruits and vegetables, or the pile of bananas that are about ready to turn brown on your countertop. If you're like me, that happens every week. But they do make really good smoothies and banana bread. So go ahead and freeze that stuff because you're not wasting them by throwing them away once they start going bad. And you are going to save a little bit of money later because you already have those ingredients in your freezer for your meal plan next time. And number five, avoid convenience foods. And this is like the frozen dinners or dinner in a box. I know they're super convenient. I buy them sometimes too, but to cut back on grocery bills, this is a pretty easy one to do. If you take that and not buy the convenience foods, instead you make your own convenience foods, you're going to save a lot more money. Typically it's bigger portions that you would make anyway, and I found that when I do it myself, it usually tastes better anyway. So skip the convenience foods. They are a big drain of money. Number six is use leftovers that you have in your refrigerator and maybe create a new meal with it. So at the end of the week or right before the end of the week, check and see what kind of leftovers you do have. Sometimes those items can be added to something else and you can have a whole new meal for an extra night, and then you don't have to buy groceries for that extra night. So you've just extended your grocery shopping until the next day. And sometimes you can come up with some really, really creative ideas with your leftovers. Number seven is shop the perimeter of the store. So the stores are set up that the perimeter has the healthiest and also usually some of the most cheapest types of foods. So produce and your meats and your dairy. And you start there first with your grocery shopping, and then you can head to the interior where you're going to buy, your rice and beans and pastas, other things that you might need for your meal plans. But avoid that convenience dinner aisle. It's really hard, but go ahead and skip that one. You don't need it. Number 8 is snacks and drinks. So these are two of the most expensive things in the store. If you can avoid them completely, that is great because you're going to save yourself a lot of money. But if you are going to get yourself some snacks and drinks, and when I say drinks, I mean like sodas and energy drinks. A lot of juices are also pretty expensive. But maybe challenge yourself, like buy them only when they're on sale, like a really good sale, not just like 5 cents off or something, but a really good sale. Or maybe just buy them once a month instead of every week that you go grocery shopping or however long you go grocery shopping. So this will make a huge change in your budget because that stuff costs a lot of money. So remember, you can completely cut it out if you are strong-willed and you can handle that. But if not, just cut back on it. It will help tremendously. So we were on number 9. Compare unit prices. So when you are shopping for stuff, check the shelves. A lot of stores have this. If they don't, just grab your calculator and figure it out. But we always think that when you buy things in a bigger container or in bulk, it's actually cheaper. Sometimes it's not always that way. Now, most times it is, but sometimes, especially when things are on sale, they'll put the smaller things on sale. It ends up being a bit cheaper to buy the smaller items. So just double check that before you grab for the bigger one. And then number 10, don't buy bulk items if you're not going to use them before they expire. Bulk items are really great, especially if you want to try to save money because they can be very useful. But if anybody can relate with this, I used to buy my lettuce from Costco. And it's because I like salads. I really do. But I don't like salads that much to where I am going to go through that large package of lettuce before it goes bad. It never fails. I have at least 1 or 2 little chunks of romaine lettuce left out of the big pack of, I think it's 6 or 8, that I always have to throw away. And I tend to get tired of salads before they go bad. So for me, I completely cut out any bulk items that I know I'm not going to use before they expire or go bad. And number 11 is shop seasonal fruits and vegetables. So we all know that fruits and vegetables have a season locally. And even though you'll see strawberries in December, January, and February, typically they are much more expensive and they're from across the world. They usually don't taste as good as when they are in season. And again, they do cost more later. So when they are in season, especially if they're having a big sale on them, buy a bunch of it and freeze it or preserve it some way so that you can enjoy that fresh produce later in the year. Number 12, modify your protein sources. And this is for if you are really concerned about having a certain amount of protein each night or each day in your meal planning. Maybe do something different other than meat. You can use beans or eggs or even, do some canned fish. A lot of those are pretty cost effective. Or you can consider maybe having meatless Mondays where you have meals without meat at all. And if you're feeling really, adventurous, you can go a couple nights a week of no meat. And that's going to save you quite a bit of money because meat is fairly expensive, kind of depending on where you get it, how much you buy. So think about that, just maybe a different source of protein or being meatless for a few days. Number 13 is stock up on your favorites when they are on sale. And this kind of goes back to the snack section. I do this on my favorite snacks. If my favorite snacks are on sale, I will buy a couple of them because they are on sale. I'm going to treat myself. It's not an everyday occurrence or every week occurrence. It's just a special occasion. So, but also when you're buying like your beans or rice or pastas or something, if they're having a really good sale, maybe stock up on that stuff because it might seem like you're spending more money at first, but later it's going to save you a little bit of money. So doesn't hurt to do that, to stock up on your favorites when they are on sale. Number 14 is one of my favorites. A friend of mine had told me about this and I have had a lot of fun with it. Sometimes it doesn't turn out that great, but it's always worth a try. But I call it a mystery meal night. And that's when we take everything out of the refrigerator or the cabinets that we could put together some sort of meal. And it's just very creative. You never know what you're going to come up with because, you know, you have all kinds of odd leftovers, or maybe you have no leftovers and you're just trying to figure out, well, what I have left in my cabinets and refrigerator, let's see what we can throw together. It's kind of fun. So number 15 is a really clever one as well. I heard about this and I thought that is actually a really good idea. Kind of goes along with number 14, but it's reverse meal planning. So instead of making a meal plan first and then your grocery list, you can go through your cabinet and through your refrigerator and see what you currently have and make a meal plan from that. That way you are using things that you already have. And it might not be exactly what you were thinking that you might want, but this is a great way to use things that you currently have, reduce waste, and also make your grocery shopping cheaper. So these are 15 frugal grocery hacks that are simple ways to save money without sacrificing anything, because our groceries don't need to take up a lot of our budget each month. And by planning and buying smarter, reducing waste, you can save a little more at the end of each month by using these tips. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out my other video about 10 things I no longer buy. Thanks.